Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.
Good morning, everyone. Good to have you with us today. Let's talk about this respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV as it's called. It's seasonal and can lead to mild respiratory infections in babies. Pediatric critical care specialist at Akron Children's Hospital, Dr. Michael Forbes, is here to tell us more about that. Later, we'll hear from Karen Posner of the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. She'll talk about the annual Market at the Food Bank fundraiser taking place in a few weeks. And if you're looking for a job, stay with us, because later in the broadcast today, Maple Heights Council President Jackie Albers and Cordell Stokes of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland will tell us about a job fair featuring several Cleveland companies. Good morning, everyone. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope, and so we begin. And glad to have you with us. And we're beginning right now with Dr. Michael Forbes of Akron Children's Hospital. He works in pediatric intensive care. Good to have you with us, Dr. Forbes.
It's good to be here.
You're here to talk a little bit about respiratory syncytial virus.
Yes.
RSV.
RSV, yeah, we'd rather call it RSV.
Yeah, okay.
So respiratory syncytial virus is like influenza. It's in the same family. But when it attacks children and the elderly, it can be fairly devastating. It usually just causes a cold in most of us. By the age of 1, most infants will have had an infection already. By the age of 2, nearly all children have had an infection with RSV.
What is it that causes this?
It's on your hands, it's on desktops, it's on objects, and so the best way to prevent it is to wash your hands. But you know, in the winter, it's kind of hard for everyone to do that. So,
are some babies more prone to this?
they sure are.
Than others?
Babies that are born preterm, meaning less than 37 weeks gestation, babies who have congenital heart disease or babies who have lung disease already, if they get infected with RSV, they can actually be fairly devastating. For them, RSV is a life-changing and can even be a life-threatening infection.
You work in pediatric intensive care there at Akron Children's Hospital.
Yes.
How often do you see this?
We see, well, every winter we see RSV, just like we see influenza. In the adult world, the focus is rightfully so on influenza because it is the big player. In the pediatric world, it is really all about RSV. There are a few other viruses that are also important players, but RSV becomes the dominant bug during the months from mid-October all the way to around mid to late April in this area. So
mothers and fathers out there, they're wondering, what can I do, Dr. Forbes, so that my youngster does not get this?
That's right.
How do I sidestep RSV?
The way to stay away from RSV is to wash your hands, and then wash your hands again. It really is the best way to control this infection during RSV season, again, from October till April. If your baby is born preterm, if your baby has heart disease, on medication because of their heart disease, or they have what we call BPD, there is a medication known as Synagis or palivizumab. It's a monoclonal antibody that binds to the RSV that makes it less of a problem for those babies, and it reduces the rate of hospitalization.
What does RSV look like when a person has this? Yeah,
well, it begins with sniffling, maybe, a runny nose. Then it moves on. It causes a cough and fever. It's a really bad cold. And so it looks just like influenza, except if you're a baby or if you're preterm or if you have any of those other risk factors, it can land you in the hospital, and then it can actually change or even threaten your life.
Do adults get this too?
They do. They do. About 150,000 children every year get RSV, and about the same number of those over the age of 65 get RSV. Once the symptoms begin, they can last up to 2 weeks.
And it's obviously contagious. I mean,
very contagious.
It can go through a family?
Absolutely can go through your home. It can move through our ICU, frankly, and through our hospital. So we really try to control as much of it as we possibly can. Frankly, when our babies were born, we kept them out of the mall, out of church, out of everywhere. If you had any symptoms, you weren't allowed near our children because we knew that it was really easy to get those infections.
What's the age group? I mean, you kept your kids out of these places.
Correct.
How long do you keep them out?
Well, if your child is born in season, so if your baby is born in August, September or so, we know that if you're in the first 6 months of life, you're particularly vulnerable. And so if you're within that age group, within the RSV season, it's good to keep your hands clean and make sure if folks are sniffling, they stay away from the baby.
And stay out of big public places.
Big public places,
What about
absolutely.
people flying with a little infant in the airplane?
Sure, keep them covered up and make sure folks aren't sneezing on them.
I mean, it's hard to get around this.
It really is. It really is. So we encourage hand washing, hand washing, hand washing. And wear gloves if you're in contact with those kids for the hospital population. But when you're out in the real world, the best thing to do is really to wash your hands as often as you can.
Not only your hands, but the infant's hands too, right?
Certainly can't hurt. The more of us
the infant is grabbing at
touching things that are infected. That's correct.
touching mother's necklaces,
Exactly.
daddy's eyeglasses,
Exactly.
all that kind of thing.
The other thing that's important is that you can be infected and have no symptoms.
So you can have it and don't
You can
even
have
know
it
you
and
have
don't
it.
know, right? So you kiss the baby and the baby gets sick, and then you get sick, and so on. So
That's why in your family you kept the baby
away from everybody.
away from everybody.
That's probably
except Mom and
overkill.
Papa.
Right, that's probably overkill, but the point is that it's everywhere, and it is largely preventable, but the best way to do that is to keep your hands clean.
How long does it take to turn this around once you get an RSV?
About a week, 1 to 2 weeks is the typical time.
You put them in the
course.
hospital?
Well, once they're in the hospital, so among the babies that get infected, only about 3% end up in the hospital. Once they're in the hospital, they're in the hospital roughly about 4 days or so. If they're in our ICU, they can be there for 2 to 3 weeks.
So the bottom line, Dr. Michael Forbes of Akron Children's Hospital, talking about RSV, respiratory syncytial virus. The bottom line is wash your hands.
Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. And if your baby is preterm, they have heart disease or BPD, make sure they get their Synagis as they go into the season.
Yeah. Dr. Michael Forbes, we appreciate you coming by telling us
my
about
great
this.
pleasure. Thank
It's
you.
another thing to be concerned about. We'll add that to the list.
Well, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Good to have you on the broadcast. Dr. Michael Forbes of Akron Children's Hospital. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break in a moment. This is Kaleidoscope. We'll be right back. By the way, you can see what's coming up on each Kaleidoscope by going to our website, newsnet5.com. Up next on this broadcast, a fundraiser for the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. Back in a moment. Welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope today. The Greater Cleveland Food Bank hosts its annual Market at the Food Bank fundraiser in early May, featuring local chefs, and the Director of Communications, Karen Posner, is here to tell us how you can participate in all of this. How are you doing, Karen Posner?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Director of Communications for the Greater Cleveland Food Bank.
Yes.
Always good to have you on the broadcast. Yeah. Tell me about how is it going, this year's Harvest for Hunger campaign, as we try to fight, as we do fight hunger in Northeast Ohio.
We have a big goal for the Harvest for Hunger campaign. We're trying to raise enough food and funds to provide 17 million meals for people in our community. And we're, more than halfway there. We wrap everything up in June, so we still have some time. And one of our big events coming up is our big fundraiser called Market at the Food Bank, happening on Sunday, May 4th.
That's always a big event. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Sure.
What can people do before we get to that date to help in the fight against hunger?
Sure. People can make a donation, a monetary donation. It's so easy to do on our website if you go to greaterclevelandfoodbank.org. And for every $1 you donate to the food bank, we can provide enough food for 4 meals. So your donation really does have an impact.
We go to greaterclevelandfoodbank.org.
Yes.
You can make donations there. You can make donations other places too, can't you?
You can. And, you can also, a lot of companies are still hosting food and funds drives, so, make sure you participate in your local company. There's still some other various events happening throughout town, so, there's lots of ways to look to get involved.
So tell me about this. The Market at the Food Bank is going to be at your facility on Sunday, May 4th.
Yes.
What happens there?
It's a great event in the sense where we've got, some of the best chefs in town, up to 50 restaurants and beverage purveyors that really take over our whole facility. You get an opportunity to see our warehouse in a different light than what it normally is. But people can come in and try food from all these wonderful chefs and, enjoy entertainment. And we've got a great auction as well for people to participate in. And then also see the great work that we do in the community.
I will tell the public it is a wonderful, wonderful facility located at 15500 South Waterloo, which is right off the East Shoreway in the Collinwood neighborhood of Northeast Cleveland. Just a wonderful, wonderful thing. So this is a way to raise money as well.
Yes, absolutely.
To fight hunger.
Yes.
What's it cost to get in?
The tickets are $100 a piece, and you know, when you think about that, you get to try all this wonderful food from a lot of restaurants that you might not normally go to. We've got Kianato, Kyle and Hubbard, Greenhouse Tavern. We've got our neighbor restaurant, Muldoon's, that's participating, which is right around the corner. A wide variety of restaurants that are participating, and you get to try as much food and you know, learn about the food bank all at the same time.
When people contribute that money, what happens with that money? Now, how do you turn that into food? For the hungry.
Right. We take that money, and what we are finding now is that we are having to purchase more food for the pantries and hot meal programs that we work with. You know, in the past, we still get donations from retailers and manufacturers and stores like, you know, Giant Eagle is one of our biggest donors. Nestle, we're fortunate to have here in Northeast Ohio, and we'll get food donations, but we can't always count on certain types of food. You know, we can't always count on getting tuna fish donated or peanut butter or spaghetti and spaghetti sauce.
High protein foods.
Exactly. And so the money that's donated to the food bank will purchase product so that we can always make sure that we have certain items in stock. And one of our goals really over the next few years, and has been for the past couple of years, is to distribute more nutritious product. And a lot of that includes produce. So we work very closely with Ohio farmers. We work closely with Feeding America, our national network of food banks, to get more produce into our areas and get that distributed to the area pantries and that as well.
I want to put a phone number on the screen. You can get more information on everything we're talking about as we continue talking with Karen Posner of the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. 216-738-2265. You see at the bottom of the screen, or you can go to greaterclevelandfoodbank.org. You can make your donation there. Every dollar you get, what happens to that dollar when somebody gives you a dollar?
Well, it goes to the food bank. And
I mean,
like I said,
how many, you can buy meals with that dollar. You stretch is what I'm saying.
Yes, we stretch. And the other way that we're able to stretch that so far is with volunteers. You know, we had 12,000 volunteers come through the food bank last year, and they helped us repack a lot of the food into more manageable boxes. They help us distribute the food. They help us prepare meals in our kitchen, and we really wouldn't be able to do what we do without those volunteers.
Is there a certain need that you're looking at right now, a certain line of foods? You'd mentioned produce. Is there something other than produce?
Produce, and then the protein items like peanut butter, like tuna fish, you know, cereal, kid-friendly food. Those items we're always looking for too, and especially you know, a lot of people don't necessarily think about as we head into summer. That's actually one of the food bank's busiest times of the year because we're providing food to a lot of kids programs in the summer, and we're helping provide those meals that they would typically get at school during the school year. So we're actually going to be heading into one of our busiest seasons right now.
In our final 15 seconds, how big a problem are we talking about, hunger?
You know, we just got some new data just within the last week, and there's over 320,000 people who are food insecure in Northeast Ohio. That means people who don't know where their next meal is going to come from, and 97,000 of those people are children.
Yeah. We got to do something about that.
We sure do.
Karen Posner, thank you so much for being with us to talk about the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. And once again, the big event is Sunday, May the 4th. Starts at 6 o'clock at the Greater Cleveland Food Bank, a facility, 15500 South Waterloo. People can go online and they can buy their tickets for that. It all goes to a wonderful cause.
Thank you.
GreaterClevelandFoodBank.org.
Yes.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
I'll take a break. I'll be right back. This is Kaleidoscope. You're in touch with Kaleidoscope, and glad to have you in touch with Kaleidoscope. The City of Maple Heights and the Urban League of Greater Cleveland are hosting a job fair. Cordell Stokes is with the Urban League's Workforce Development Department, and he's here along with Maple Heights Council President Jackie Albers. They'll tell us more about this event. Good to have you with us, Council President Albers of Maple Heights and Cordell Stokes of the Urban League.
Thank you, and good morning.
Tell me about this job fair which is taking place.
Well, it's an entirely new venture for us as far as getting all of these elements involved. The Lions Club, as I mentioned, is relatively new in Maple, and we had actually been very successful in getting the glasses collection, glasses, and placing them all over the city. But we wanted to do more to address the needs of the youth and all of the folks that are looking for job opportunities.
So you're having a job fair.
We certainly are. We're using the Lutheran Church as our base, and getting involved with the Urban League was a gigantic plus for us.
Let's bring Cordell into this. Cordell Stokes of Workforce Development Area of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. Tell me about the partnership here, how you got involved.
Sure, Lee, and as we were discussing earlier, and I think it's great to have the council president here today to show the significance of this job fair and the commitment back to the community of not only Maple Heights, but in the broader sense, you know that unemployment exists across the boundaries of Maple Heights. Jim Cipriani of Broadview Heights Lions Club, as well as Tanya Black, who is the president of the Maple Heights Lions Club, approached me with the desire to seek some technical assistance in the development of a job fair. And once I brought it to Marsha Maccabee, our president and CEO, obviously she wanted to bring it closer to home.
Yeah.
And now we're here today to talk about a very comprehensive job fair that will take place on May 8th with a very broad-based set of employers. So that's pretty much where we are today.
This is going to be Thursday, May the 8th at the Lutheran Church of the Covenant, which is at 19,000 Libby Road in Maple Heights.
Right.
Starts at 10 o'clock in the morning and goes until mid-afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 10 o'clock in the morning, Thursday, May 8th, Lutheran Church of the Covenant. What do you want to happen? What do you envision happening here? And what kind of jobs are we talking about where people can learn more information about them?
Well, with the groups that we have coming in, we have banks. We have, I just heard we have Tri-C coming in as well with their education program. We have the Maple Heights Chamber, which is composed of small businesses in our area. Nothing really huge, although we do have some million-dollar businesses that exist in Maple Heights that do hire local as well. We have several re-entry programs that are coming in. Catholic Charities is one, the Lutheran Ministries is another one, and we also have another one from the St. Vincent de Paul group, which are going to offer opportunities for education as well as jobs. We are also hoping to get the seniors in. They should be pretty much finished with school, and hopefully working with the high school, we can get some of the seniors in to see what opportunities are available for them as well.
The high school seniors.
This high school seniors, yes.
Yeah. Cordell, you've been working with this workforce piece of the Urban League for some time now.
Absolutely.
What is your suggestion to people who may want to come to this this job fair? How should they be prepared? What should they expect?
Well, first of all, when you come to the job fair, you're going to want to be dressed for success, ready and willing to interview on the spot if that allowance is available to you. Bring your resume, proper dress, and look at it very optimistically, that this is an opportunity to engage a variety of organizations with a multiple selection of services that can address you from maybe some home health needs, some personal needs, employment opportunities, and of course ex-offender services. And we have another significant partner in Towards Employment who will also be a participant that is directly targeting our
information I'm holding here, and we'll hold that shot for just a second, control room. I'd appreciate it. Looking for a career, that's what we're talking about, Jackie.
Absolutely, absolutely.
This is not just a job. We're looking for people who are career oriented to begin their careers or certainly push up their careers. This is open to anybody, not just Maple Heights people, right?
No,
this is open to everybody.
We would encourage everyone in the community. We are surrounded by communities that have young people and young adults as well who are in need of opportunities like this.
And as Cordell Stokes of the Urban League says, come prepared to do business.
Yes.
Dress the part, bring your resumes with you,
and
come in and show up on time.
No texting either.
No texting.
And have a smile.
And have a smile and come in with the attitude. Once again, we'll give it a good plug here. The Lutheran Church of the Covenant. It's going to be Thursday, May the 8th. Starts at 10 o'clock in the morning and runs until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's at 19,000 Libby Road, Maple Heights, Thursday, May the 8th, and it is a job fair which is going to, we hope, get some people into career, not only jobs, into careers.
Excellent.
Appreciate you being with us. Jackie Albers, Council President of Maple Heights.
Thank you.
And Cordell Stokes of the Urban League. Good to have you both.
Leon, thanks so much for the opportunity.
Oh, it is always my pleasure.
All right.
Pleasure. You got it. Taking a break. I'll be right back in a moment. This is the Morning Exchange segment of our broadcast. We call it that, and good to have you with us. Right now, that means the Urban League is going to have a comment, and we got Samia Bray, who's Senior Manager for Emerging Programs at the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. She joins me right now, and she's always got something on her mind. And Samia, what's on your mind today?
Well, Leon, thank you for inviting us once again. On behalf of our President and CEO, Marsha Maccabee, I bring you greetings this morning. And today we're here talking about equity and excellence in education in Ohio.
Okay.
Yes, very excited about that. And it's an issue that the Urban League advocates for because education is something that is important from preschool all the way to high school.
You mean we should be pushing education to the little ones?
Absolutely, because it's starting out with a strong foundation, keeping that up through the state standards, and then moving into career and into college and or vocation after that.
You brought a picture here, and we'll see if we can get a shot of this on camera number 3 at the control room. Will work with me, as the control room always works with
Indeed.
me. I love them for what they do. This is what it's all about, getting people ready for education and college and all of that kind of thing, or some sort of education beyond high school.
Yes, yes indeed. And the Urban League is very supportive of this, and this is an initiative that is ongoing with us. It's about advocacy, and it's also about implementation. And so as you check into our website at www.ulcleveland.org, you can find information ongoing about equity and excellence in education.
Or people can make a phone call to 216-622-0999. And by the way, we're talking about that in our last segment. We were talking about that job fair in Maple Heights, slated for Thursday, May the 8th. You can call 622-0999 in the 216 area to get more information on that as well.
Absolutely.
So the Urban League stays busy, not only with job fairs, but providing educational equity and excellence, pushing that idea as well.
Yes. Well, you know, the Urban League, this Urban League will be 100 years old in 2017. We look good for 100 years old.
You look very good for 100.
That being the case, we're looking at all ways impacting education, employment, and housing.
Thank you, Samia Bray, who's with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. That's going to do it for us. I'm Leon Bibb. Good luck, be well. We'll talk again.
Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.